Hello and welcome back to HardReset.Info. In this video, I will show you how to use routines on any Samsung device. Let's begin! So no matter what you want to do, if you want to fully automate your device or if you want to just troll your best buddy that just happens to have a Samsung device, this video is for you if you want to learn routines fully. So without further ado, just let's begin. And we can begin by heading into the settings and scrolling into modes and routines. Now, a quick difference between modes and routines, that modes are a little bit more intuitive, let's say. For example, we have game mode, which will automatically turn itself on whenever the game is being played, and few things may happen. We can enable it, and we can't change it. That's sad. But we can add a new mode that has some sort of custom thing in it, and we can technically add like a condition, but you will notice that the conditions are very limited, like very limited. So this is why personally I like to use routines better. Let's ignore all those modes and routines and let's enable routines. So routines are fairly more powerful than the mode itself because they have a vast majority of conditions and results of that conditions. Now I don't want to yell about theoretical stuff. I will just show you a couple of useful routines and you will just learn with me as we go. So let's simply start with something very simple and very basic. Let's say we want to automatically enable the power saving mode whenever our battery drops below 30%. Seems pretty easy, right? Because normally you want to do it manually, but let's be honest, who wants to do it manually when we can do it automatically? Let's add the plus icon and let's go into if. Now here we have a list of, we have a list of every single, I can't scroll. We have a list of every single thing that can work as a condition. So as you can see, there is a plenty of things and we want to go into device and into battery level. Luckily, there is no need for us to actually search for it. We can just go and type in battery, and here we have battery level. So we want to enter 30%, and we want to make sure that it is set to below. So let's hit done. And now, then you will notice that there are a couple of things. Mostly we have every single tab inside our settings. And we have things like all actions, which basically give us very powerful abilities to fully control our device. As you can see, there are plenty of it. So I can't go fully in depth, but you can just play around with it on your Samsung device. Anyway, you will notice that the power saving mode is already being suggested to us, so we can just click it, you can just hit done, and now we can save it. But before we save it, there is one simple thing that I want to mention. When routine ends, we have only one action here and we want to return to the status before the routine ran. So if we didn't have the power saving on and the condition was met, it would automatically enable the power saving. But when condition is no longer met, so if you would charge up our device and it would start to gain battery after 30%, then it will automatically turn off the power saving mode. If you want this behavior, you can leave it on. If you don't want to, you can just disable that. But for me, at least, I really like it. I will go with save. And now we can name it something cool. So I will go with this reddish color. I will go with the battery icon and I will simply name it low battery. Okay, so this is pretty cool. Let's hit done. As you can see, we do have our automatic routine. But that is still very basic, don't you think? What if we can do something more? Something that we couldn't possibly easily do without the automatic routines? Well, let's say that I have face unlock enabled, but every smart person will know that face unlock isn't very good because sometimes there just happens to be somebody that looks like awfully similar to you, and the face unlock might actually not recognize him or they as other person but instead as you. So let's do something cool. Let's lock the ability for our device to be unlocked by face unlock whenever we are not home. How can we potentially do that? Well, there are a couple of ways. Let's start with actually adding the routine, and let's think about condition. So we could potentially go into place, and inside place we can go with my current location, work, pick a place, and here we basically just pick whatever we are here. Oh, I just doxed myself. Beautiful. But I'm not a big fan of it because location sometimes isn't very accurate and it's also very power hungry. So instead we can do something smarter. We can scroll down and we can go into Wi-Fi network. You probably have Wi-Fi network in your home, right? So we can make sure that we are disconnected from our current network. This, at least let's say that this for me is the network that I have inside my home. So our condition will run every single time when we are not connected to our home network, which means that we are, for example, at work, at some sort of random walk in movie theater. It doesn't really matter. So the condition is done. Now let's go into then, so we want to know what will happen, and we want to scroll down, enter a lock screen, and you will notice unlock with biometrics. So we can enter it, and we can disable face, and we can hit done. Now we can simply hit save, but with changing things that are really lock screen dependent, we must enter our current pattern, which is completely fine. And now we can go and let's search for our face. So, well, there isn't very specific face icon. I will go with this one, and we can name it something that makes actual sense, like face unlocked when not home. It's very basic. It doesn't really have to be anything fancy. It just gives us information about what that routine does. So now, if I would, for example, disable the Wi-Fi, you will notice that our automatic routine is now running, and there is no way for me to unlock my device using face unlock, because as you can see, there isn't really a way for us to detect, there is no animation for detecting the face unlock. So as you can see, the routines can be pretty powerful, and they can provide some very important usage. But let's take a break for this serious stuff with your security and all of that, and let's do something funny. So I will now head into our routine, and I will add something mysterious. Okay, the mysterious routine have been added, and I think I deserve a little break, so maybe a little upgrade route in Clash of Clans, maybe? Okay, so I'll be... Oh my god. Holy shit, that was scary. Oh. God damn it. Oof, wow, I think I have a brilliant actor skills. Now, of course, if you were paying attention, you will notice that that was just a very simple routine. Or was it? I want you to pause the video and think about how you could potentially set something like this up. So 3, 2, 1. Hopefully you know the answer, because I'm going to spoil it. I will go into the settings, I will go into modes and routines, and inside routines we have our routines from before, so low battery, face unlocked when not home, and finally our newly created unemployed routine. So unemployed, of course, has only one condition, and it plays if app is opened, and then it changes few things. First of all, it allows us to play ringtones, though actually this doesn't work because I wanted it to play a nice cult laugh meme. It actually, I couldn't really get it to work, which is pretty interesting. But anyway, we have the sound mode and volume and the media volume, so the sound of our oh, maybe this is because it's not working. That's interesting. Hold on. Can I? No, I can't. That's stupid. Anyway, we want to show an image. In our case, it's the unemployment image. Actually, it's... Oh, I screwed up the rotation. I have no idea why it happened. Then we read text aloud, which also got cut. I'm not exactly sure why, but this should read like this.
Get a job, loser.
And then we wait 1 second before showing the laughing cat meme, and finally we should hear a very loud laugh. Unfortunately, I'm not entirely sure, but I couldn't get it to work, and I don't really want to waste too much time on this as this one-time joke, but I hope that you can now see how much you can do. One last thing I want to mention is that if you want to do something more complicated, you actually can. Inside then, you can enter add action, and inside and at the bottom you can go into advanced options, and you will notice we have plenty of different things like show action list and even built-in if else. So even here we can set more conditions, which is amazing, I believe. It's basically a whole built-in programming language that you can just play around with, and I find that really amazing. But anyway, that's all for this video. I really hope you now know how powerful routines are, and if you have any questions or any suggestions or any cool routines you can create, make sure to shoot them down in the comments below. Anyway, that's all for the video. If you found it useful, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching.